What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at all three of Applin's split evolutions, Appleton, Flapple, and the newly released Diplin. Now Diplin does actually evolve again into Hydrapple, but as you can see, I'm not doing particularly well for Stardust right now, so that will be a Pokemon that I take a look at in the future. It does also cost 600 candies in total to evolve Applin all the way to Hydrapple, as well as 20 Syrup Apples, which I think is a bit ridiculous to be honest. But anyways, of course, this is going to be a meme team. All three Pokemon share the same dual typing of Dragon and Grass, which has some cool double resistances to Electric, Grass, and Water, but is also weak to basically everything else. And unfortunately, in the Jungle Cup, it feels like most teams have at least two strong answers to this trio, meaning it was very difficult to run. I did still, however, manage to pick up some crazy comeback wins against some of the hardest counters to this team. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is your favorite split evolution line in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Appleton into Shadow Gyarados. Of course, I'm expecting Gyarados to be running Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath is hitting for super effective damage, but that's okay. The opponent is not going to farm up to a potential Dragon Pulse or Outrage. They fire off a double-resisted Aqua Tail, actually, so I'm going to no-shield that. I'm going to go for a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb grabs a shield, and now I realize I'm in range where they can probably just settle for another Aqua Tail, so I swap into my Diplin, and the opponent is going to double bait with two Aqua Tails there. I'm firing off the Seed Bomb once again. Seed Bomb is going to grab both shields from the opponent, and at this point, even if they do go for a crunch, I should be able to tank it. They fire off the crunch, we barely hang on, and I can reach another Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb will be finally getting rid of the Shadow Gyarados as they come in with an Acid Credilli. Now at this point, I'm going to come in with the Flapple, and I will fire off the Seed Bomb straight away, winning CMP here, and able to fire off the Seed Bomb before they can, of course, debuff my attack. I'm going to shield this. I don't know what they've got in the back here. They fire off the Rock Tomb, and then I'm hoping by the time I reach the next charge move, I can just settle for another Seed Bomb. So firing off Seed Bomb, number 2, but Seed Bomb is debuffed, and unfortunately, it's also not the greatest charge move, so it does not get the KO there. We've only got a very low HP Appleton, but they've got a Gastrodon in the back. Now Seed Bomb, of course, double super effective, but it also does not get the one shot, and here in this first battle you can see Seed Bomb just feels like a very underwhelming move. However, Appleton just barely hanging on to that acid damage, getting the farm down with 1 HP and a Dream, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there into the next battle, and an amazing lead matchup for me, leading into a Lantern. Basically, Lantern can do literally nothing as it is a Water and Electric type Pokemon. Both typings are going to be double resisted by the entire team, so we're in a pretty good position here. I'm able to grab a shield advantage. I'm now going to swap into my Flapple. I'm going to shield this move as they fire off another Foul Play, and then I will look to overfarm. Seed Bomb, of course, should be getting the KO from this range unless they double shield, and the opponent will let Sableye go down. They come in with a Peck Shadow Murkrow, dealing huge damage with the fast moves. I fire off the Fly. Fly is going to grab the final shield, and now, of course, I'm going to come in with, I believe, the Appleton and basically just sacrifice it. Yeah, so the opponent is going to be forced to throw here as I am close to a charge move. Of course, Drill Peck easily gets the KO there. We can come in with the Diplin, and even though, of course, they are hitting for super effective damage with the fast moves, they're not going to get me too low. I can fire off a Seed Bomb, and Seed Bomb, whilst it is resisted damage, will be taking out Shadow Murkrow, and I'm just way too healthy for the Lantern. They've got Water Gun, of course. Water Gun is a one-turn fast move. It will add up over time, better than Spark would, but either way, we're in a great position. The opponent will reach a charge move, but you're going to see Thunderbolt doesn't do much damage whatsoever. We're at Seed Bomb number 2, and of course, Seed Bomb takes out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there into the next battle. We're going to see Appleton into Piloswine. This is a really bad Pokemon for my entire team to see. We just saw Lantern in the lead. That was basically the dream lead, and this is pretty much worst case scenario. Of course, my entire team is going to take double super effective damage from the ice typing. However, at least Seed Bomb does hit for super effective back, so I will grab a shield. However, because I'm running the Appleton in the lead, it is going to be the slowest to reach charge moves, so we do unfortunately get outpaced to the next move, and the opponent Brilliant play there, recognizing I'm going to get to the Seed Bomb on CMP, so they swap, they make a catch onto Charger Bug, so I'm going to bank a Seed Bomb and then swap into my Diplin. Diplin, of course, going to take super effective damage from the X-Scissor, but I am double resisting the fast move damage, so now I'm going to shield and then commit to maybe 3 more Dragon Tails, farming up to back-to-back Seed Bombs before firing off the charge move. Seed Bomb is resisted. I'm hoping it KOs, but it actually does not get the knockout from that range, and unfortunately that will be costing me. However, of course, if they came back in with the Piloswine, I believe we would lose CMP with the Diplin anyway, so it doesn't matter that I had a move banked on both Pokemon. I would have only got off 1 move from my Flapple, in which case they would have just Powder Snow farmed me down anyways. But GG's to that trainer. Into the next battle. We're going to see Charger Bug in the lead this time around. So once again, I am double resisting the fast move damage. They will fire off the X-Scissor, which does respectable damage there, but now I can fire off an Outrage. Outrage coming through, it does huge damage, but again, they've got a Piloswine, so I swap into Diplin. However, the opponent doesn't throw on the best timing here, giving a full Dragon Tail in for free. I'm now going to go for 1 Dragon Tail, fire off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb should be grabbing a shield from the Piloswine, and it does just that. Now, the opponent doesn't throw the next move straight away, instead looking for a full farm down, which means I grab both shields here, and I do still have my Appleton to potentially catch a charge move. I believe there are 8 Powder Snows, so they are going to throw straight away just blindly. I'm going to shield the first one, and if they throw straight away, I'm able to catch onto the Appleton, but I need something in the back that's incredibly weak to Flapple. Of course, I can outpace them. I don't really know how much to overfarm by, so I do overfarm just slightly. We go for Seed Bomb, it gets the KO, and that overfarm is going to come in clutch as I'm able to outpace Greninja. Greninja, not the bulkiest Pokemon ever. Seed Bomb actually gets the KO from that range, and somehow this team was able to overcome a Piloswine. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. We're going to see a great lead matchup for me, but with a Shadow Kanto Marowak, the opponent is also going to be running a Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff is so problematic for my team. Of course, all the fast move damage on my entire team is going to be double resisted. I did consider using Rollout on Diplin for better coverage up against flying types, and like, I guess into Wigglytuff as well. However, it probably still wouldn't help me all that much. Here, they are going to go for an Icy Wind debuff. I'm going to fire off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is going to be shielded by the Wigglytuff, and I can reach another Seed Bomb here before they fully farm me down, but of course, they're just going to double shield the Wigglytuff, and if you saw yesterday's video, this is why I hate Wigglytuff. It's just so annoying. They're always going to double shield Wigglytuff, and there's just not a lot I can do here, but I will be shielding. They fire off the Icy Wind. I'm looking for a farm down, so I swap out. I catch the next Icy Wind onto my Appleton, and if I once again see something incredibly weak to the Flapple in the back, maybe we've got a slither of hope, but nope, it's going to be Credilli, and unfortunately, Fly, whilst it's going to do okay-ish damage, they can just go for 1 more Acid, get the full farm down, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's up in there into the next battle. We're going to see Charger Bug in the lead once again. So once again, going to stay in this matchup here, and I will no shield. The opponent is going to fire off the X-Scissor. This time, I'm actually going to go for 2 Astonishes, recognizing the opponent unlikely to shield anyway, so I might as well go for 1 extra Astonish, and Outrage, once again, going to be no shielded. This time, they come in with Galarian Moltres, so I will be swapping into my Diplin. We're, of course, going to shield this as the opponent will be going for a Fly. Fly, going to hit for super effective damage, and if it doesn't one-shot, it would at least put us into farm down range. Here, I'm going to farm up to back-to-back Seed Bombs, bait with the Seed Bomb there, and then unfortunately, they do just barely outpace me to the next charge move. They're going to fire off the Fly. The opponent is now going to swap into a Ferrothorn, and honestly, my switch clock was very nearly up there. I don't know why I throw any energy at all. Of course, everything is resisted. However, unless they're running Flash Cannon, I am going to double resist everything from the Ferrothorn. So they fire off the Power Whip. Unfortunately, from that range, that actually does get the KO there, but we should be able to come in, completely wall them. Not going to bother throwing a charge move, as I realize, of course, Galarian Moltres does have some residual energy, so I'm going to fire off the Fly. Fly should be grabbing the final shield. My switch clock is coming up. I'm able to swap out, but I swap out at the exact time they throw a charge move. So even though I had energy banked, I don't get off that energy at all. We go for the farm down, and Flapple just barely hanging on. You literally can't even see that we've got any HP remaining, but Fly, from that range, takes out the Ferrothorn, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on their into the next battle. We're going to see Appleton into a Pylo Swine once again. So, not ideal for me, but they actually swap out of that matchup. I honestly do not understand that play at all. We're going to fire off a Seed Bomb here. We throw it on CMP, which is very risky, but the opponent is going to throw straight away, and we win CMP as well. So, the opponent fires off a Brutal Swing. That's fine with me. I'm now going to swap out, catch the next charge attack, and the opponent this time is going to fire off a Rock Tomb, which is not ideal for me. I was hoping to catch a Brutal Swing there, but either way, I'm now going to shield the next charge. I realize I do have to start shielding eventually, because if they come back in with the Pylo Swine and they farm me down before I reach back-to-back charge moves, that could be very problematic for me. Now, we've got back-to-back Seed Bombs here, but unfortunately, I have been debuffed. So Seed Bomb number 2 still doesn't get the KO, and I'm not able to Dragon Breath snipe them with the Flapple, so that is definitely not ideal for me. We do get the Dragon Breath farm down in the end, but they've got Altaria in the back. Now here, I'm going to go and fire off a Fly. Fly is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. The opponent isn't really going to overfarm by much, which means I should be able to reach an Outrage on my Appleton, but honestly, I don't remember how much energy they've got on the Runarigus. So this point, we're going to come in with the Appleton. The opponent does not make a catch. Of course, we can full send the Outrage. Outrage gets the one shot there, and here I'm going to swap. I tried to catch a charge move, but the opponent holds onto the energy, and at this point, it will be game over. Of course, Brutal Swing easily takes out the Appleton from that range, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. So, GG's up on their into the next battle. We can see a great lead matchup for me. Of course, Pachirisu completely walled in previous seasons. This season, it does at least have access to Hyper Fang. Hyper Fang, not the best move, it's non-stab, but it does at least allow them to hit for something that isn't double resisted up against my entire team, but it's still a very positive matchup for me. I'm firing off the Outrage. They will reach another Hyper Fang, but again, I can tank this very comfortably. They fire off the Hyper Fang. At this point, I'm actually going to swap out. I wasn't entirely sure if another Astonish would get the farm down there, so I swap. I catch a Thunder Punch onto my Diplin, and the opponent comes in with Shadow Murkrow. Now, of course, they can commit to a full farm down, but Diplin is fairly bulky for a Grass-type Pokemon, and I'm able to reach back-to-back Seed Bombs. Seed Bomb number 2 is actually going to be no-shielded. They do get the farm down, but they're at 1 HP, so we come in, we get the Dragon Breath Snipe. Their final Pokemon going to be a Quagsire. That's absolutely game over, so the opponent just concedes the match. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. We're going to see Appleton into Altaria. So, not a great matchup for me, as my 2 back Pokemon do have Dragon-type fast move damage. So, I'm going to swap into Diplin. They will outpace me to the first move. The opponent's actually going to full send a Flamethrower. So, I don't know if that means they don't have Sky Attack, or if they just went for Flamethrower, not really recognizing the typing here. But either way, I'm not going to complain too much. The opponent will still outpace me to the next charge move. So, of course, I'm going to no-shield. No point shielding there, otherwise they would just farm me down. We can come in with the Flapple, and they're actually in range where I can Dragon Breath farm them down there before they do reach another charge move. They come in with a Credilli, so I'm going to go straight for a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, not going to do too much damage, but they will shield the first charge move, as, of course, this is a Credilli we're talking about. They're always going to shield the first move. We go for Fly. Fly does decent damage, and now I'm forced to swap out. Of course, they can go for a debuff here. The opponent going to fire off the Rock Tomb, and let's see, will they swap out? The opponent is going to swap. They swap into Shadow Scizor, and unfortunately, now that I'm debuffed here, Outrage, whilst it will do big damage, does not get the KO there. The opponent can reach a last-second Night Slash. Night Slash gets me fairly low. We put them into 1 Dragon Breath farm down range, but Credilli will actually reach a charge move, and even if they didn't, I believe they would have actually farmed me down anyways, but unfortunately, Rock Tomb takes out the Flapple, and I do lose that game. But GG's up on there into the next battle. We see Swampert in the lead. So I felt like I basically either had really, really good leads or really bad leads, and not really much in between. That is kind of the nature of this team. Lots of really strong lead matchups and lots of really bad matchups. But anyways, they swap into Corviknight. This is actually my best matchup into Corviknight, as I do have a neutral fast move in Astonish. The opponent fires off the Air Cutter there. I should be able to tank another one just barely and reach an Outrage before they sand attack farm me down. So Outrage is going to be shielded by the opponent. I swap into my Diplin here, and I can still no-shield. They have not yet got a boost, so Air Cutter, once again... Oh, sorry, no, this time they do actually get the boost there, but they actually swap out back into Swampert. So in case they're running Sludge, I do shield. They actually go for a Hydro Cannon there, so that is quite a strange play on the opponent's end. Not really sure why they went for that, but either way, they do grab a shield, so smart play, I guess, but they're going to come in with their final Pokemon, a Shadow Credilli. But this time they're on Bullet Seed, so that is so much better for me. Of course, Acid is going to hit for Super effective damage, Bullet Seed is double resisted. So here, we fire off a second Seed Bomb, we throw on CMP, we grab the final shield, and that should be game over. Of course, Corviknight does have a charge move loaded. They will reach it here up against the Flapple, and Flapple, not the bulkiest Pokemon, but they have zero fast move pressure. I can actually Dragon Breath farm them all the way down. They come back in with Shadow Cradilly, and I'm going straight for Fly this time around. Fly, gonna do more damage than the Seed Bomb. It gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. We see Drifblim in the lead. So this is actually an okay matchup for me. Of course, Icy Wind is going to one-shot the entire team. So I will be shielding here, respect the damage. But I've got Astonish damage here. It is adding up over time. The opponent's going to swap out into Dedenne, which is a little bit awkward for me because I'm going to resist the fast move damage. I'm going to resist Parabolic Charge as well, double resisting it actually. But a Play Rough will definitely get the one-shot. So here, we're going to fire off back-to-back Seed Bombs. They can actually no-shield twice because they had just debuffed my attack with the Icy Wind. They full send the Play Rough, but now we can come in with the Flapple. I'm hoping to get a full Dragon Breath farm down, but we actually just barely don't get there. They live with 1 HP and a Dream. That is agonizingly close, but we've still got a lot of energy. We've put them into range with the Astonish damage, where we can actually just settle for Seed Bombs here. So we fire off the first one, we're firing off the second one just as they are reaching the Icy Wind. Seed Bomb number 2 grabs the final shield, and of course, I don't need to swap out, make any catches, because I've put them into range where 4 Dragon Tails should get the farm down, and their final Pokemon gonna be a Gastrodon. We've already seen Seed Bomb, despite being double super effective, does not get the one shot here, but it doesn't really matter. We can take anything they throw here, especially if for whatever reason they go for a Water Pulse. I could have thrown a charge move, but I'm confident we can get the Dragon Tail farm down, and so I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle. We're going to see Miltank in the lead. Now, this is quite problematic for me. Firstly, they are a normal type Pokemon, so I will swap out of that lead matchup as Astonish is going to be double resisted. Also, they are very likely to be running Ice Beam as one of the coverage moves. Might be on Ice Beam and Thunderbolt here, or they might be on Body Slam, or they could actually be running the buffed Gyro Ball, which is quite unlikely. But either way, they are going to swap out there, bank the energy. They're going to come in with a Murkrow, but it's a non-shadow, so they actually tank that, and they can reach a last second charge move, so not ideal for me. Drill Peck does get the KO there, but we can come in with the Diplin, go for a Dragon Tail farm down. They come back in with the Miltank, and I'm definitely going to shield here. We've already seen Ice Beam. Ice Beam is going to hit for double super effective damage. It is non-stab, but it probably one-shots anyways. Here, I'm going to look to throw as late as possible, and the opponent's unfortunately still going to reach another Ice Beam. Ice Beam does get the KO there. I should be able to reach a Seed Bomb on CMP, and Seed Bomb should be winning CMP here up against the Miltank, so we'll finally get rid of this fat cow, but unfortunately, they've got a Wigglytuff in the back, and there's just nothing I can do there. I feel like the opponent was just teasing me that entire game. They had 3 really strong answers to the entire team, but the strongest in the back with the Wigglytuff, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's to that trainer into the next battle. We're going to see Dedenne in the lead, so again, an awkward matchup for me. I'm going to fire off the Seed Bomb straight away as I want to either force a shield early, or of course grab just deal decent damage there. Potentially, they can bait with a Parabolic Charge, and now, of course, they've boosted up the defense there. But either way, we can fire off another Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, gonna be shielded. There's no way they double bait me, but I don't want to use both my shields straight away. So they fire off the Play Rough. That gets the KO, and again, it looks like, unfortunately, Flapple will not get a full Dragon Breath farm down. So this time, I do actually throw on CMP. Seed Bomb actually grabs a shield there, so potentially, they are weak to the Flapple in the back. Their final Pokemon, oh sorry, their second Pokemon is going to be an Altaria, and what I'm hoping to do is basically just force Altaria to throw some energy. If they commit to a farm down, which actually it doesn't look like they would be able to do anyways, then we would lose the game there. But now we put them into range where 4 Dragon Tails gets the farm down. Their final Pokemon is a Gastrodon, and once again, of course, Seed Bomb not quite going to get the one shot, but we are just so healthy here that it doesn't matter what they throw. I think, again, for some reason, this trainer also goes for a Water Pulse, which is double resisted. It doesn't make any sense at all. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I guess maybe it's just going for the BM, recognizing they've lost the game there, but I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there. Into the next battle. We're going to see Credilli in the lead. Now, Credilli is going to be on Acid, so Acid does make this a bad matchup for me. And also, I'm going to throw on Alignment here just because I want to get off the Seed Bomb before they can potentially debuff me with a Rock Tomb. The opponent fires off the charge move. They're going to go for the Rock Tomb. I'm now going to swap into Flapple as I realize I can reach a Seed Bomb on CMP, win CMP, and as well, Seed Bomb should get the KO from that range. The opponent does use a shield there. The opponent going to fire off the Rock Tomb before swapping into a Talonflame. I'm going to fire off a Fly just before they do reach a potential Fly of their own. Fly, going to be shielded there. Incinerate does not KO, so I'm going to bank the energy, and now I'm going to swap into my Appleton. Again, unfortunately, we're on 1 HP here, so even if I shielded, we would go down through the shield regardless. And same here, unfortunately, I'm on 1 HP, so I can't shield this, as it would just KO through the shield. So we're going to put all our faith into Diplin. Going to use the final shield here, of course, protecting a Fly from this Talonflame. Can we sweep the end game? We're going for that Dragon Tail farm down, and let's see what they've got in the back. They come back in with Credilli, but they've got a Shadow Sizzle here, so I'm going to go straight for Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse is resisted. It will two-shot them, however, unfortunately, I have to full send a second Dragon Pulse, meaning I've got no residual energy. They can come back in with Credilli, and unfortunately, they will reach a charge move, and of course, Rock Tomb will be taking out the Diplin, and I do end up losing that game. But GG's up on there, into the next match. I'm going to see Credilli in the lead once again. However, this time they're on Bullet Seed, so this is a much better matchup for me. Of course, Bullet Seed is going to be double resisted. I'm once again going to fire off a Seed Bomb straight away. They do no shield, and you can see 2 Seed Bombs, even if they didn't debuff me, won't actually get the one shot. So what we're going to do here, I realize I can tank another Rock Tomb. They will not be able to farm me down. I'm just going to bank the energy here and then swap into my Flapple. So Flapple can come in, get an energy head start, and I will be looking to throw just as they are reaching another Rock Tomb. Seed Bomb gets the KO there. They're going to come in with a Clodsire, and we are going to look to throw a Fly. I tried to throw on CMP with a potential Stone Edge. However, the opponent does not throw straight away, so we give a full Poison Sting in for free. So not the best idea on my part, but the opponent will be firing off a Stone Edge nonetheless. At this point, I think I will just go for a Seed Bomb just in case they do shield here. I want to pace to the next Seed Bomb slightly faster. Of course, Fly does slightly more damage, but either way, we do grab a shield there, and now I'm going to come in with the Diplin. The fact they shielded gives me confidence that potentially they do have something in the back that is fairly weak to my Dragon and Grass-type Pokemon. So here I'm going to overfarm massively, fire off the Seed Bomb. We're at well over back-to-back. Seed Bomb gets the KO, and my hunch was right as they've got Greninja in the back. We can fire off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is going to grab the final shield here. I can very comfortably tank a Night Slash from this Greninja, and we will see a Seed Bomb coming through once again. But once again, Diplin is kind of bulky, so Seed Bomb does not get the KO there. They can reach another Night Slash, but I've got energy on my Appleton, and actually, I don't even need to use it. We can just come in, go for the Astonish farm down, taking out Greninja, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there, into the next battle. We're going to see Crustle in the lead, so this is not a great matchup for me. We're going to stay in here. I should just barely tank an X-Scissor, so this is a non-shadow. X-Scissor does big damage there, but I can at least reach a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is actually going to be shielded. The opponent recognizing if I'm staying in that matchup, I must be weak to the Crustle, so I'm going to swap into my Flapple. They fire off another X-Scissor before swapping into Credilli. So, unfortunately, so far, my team not very strong into theirs. They've got 2 Pokemon with super effective fast move damage, and they can, of course, commit to a full farm down here if they just shield the charge move and come out with a ton of loaded energy. We do get them fairly low, but they can double debuff me before I can commit to either a farm down or throw a charge move with the Diplin. So at this point, I am going to shield the first move here as they fire off the Rock Tomb. The reason I shield the first one is because if they do land it, they can actually just swap back into the Crustle and deal big damage with the Fury Cutters. Whereas here, I'm actually going to swap, clear the debuff, get the Astonish farm down. They come in with Crustle, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Kanto Marowak. So here, I'm going to fire off the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb doesn't really do much damage, but a second Seed Bomb should get the KO. I didn't know who would win CMP, so I don't overfarm too much, and I've now got another Seed Bomb, but is this enough damage to get the KO here? Seed Bomb does not get the KO, and they get the Fury Cutter farm down. And once again, Seed Bomb, super underwhelming damage there, and it is the reason why I lose that game. But GG's to opponent there into the final battle of this video, and actually a really good matchup for me, unless they're running Flash Cannon, which would do quite a lot of damage, but the opponent does not farm to it, instead going straight for a Mirror Shot before swapping into an Altaria. But I'm going straight for Outrage. Outrage, not respected, it does huge damage, and now we can just snipe with Dragon Tail damage from my Diplin. And even worse for the opponent, they've got a Swampert in the back. This is absolutely game over. So at this point, I think we might go for a 2-shield flex. I'm firing off the Seed Bomb. They throw straight away, so I'm going to no-shield this. Even a Sludge does not get the KO there. I go for 1 Dragon Tail. I fire off the Seed Bomb. The opponent likely going to shield this and then swap back into the Magna Zone. But that's fine with me. We can come in with the Flapple. And again, I do not need to shield here. The opponent fires off the Mirror Shot. I'm now going to overfarm, fire off a Seed Bomb, despite being resisted. Will get the KO from that range, and now I can outpace the Swampert to the next charge move, and I will be finishing this game with all 3 Pokemon and 2 shields still in play. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.